The recording has started, Craig.
Okay, thank you, Chloe. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the South West Wales Corporate Joint Committee of Tuesday, the 6th of June, 2023. As this is cast as the annual general meeting of the Corporate Joint Committee, the first item on the agenda today will be the appointment of the chair for the committee for the forthcoming civic year. I wonder, therefore, members, could I have a proposer, please, for the role of chair? Councillor Price?
Ie, diolch. Fi'n hapus I gynnig cynghorydd Rob Stewart fel cadeirydd.
Diolch, Councillor Price. Could I have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Han. Could I confirm, therefore, that all members are in favour of Councillor Stewart being appointed as chair for this forthcoming year? I think we can take that ultimately then as agreed. So the next item on the agenda is the appointment of the vice chair for the forthcoming civic year. Could I have a proposer, please?
Happy to move, Councillor Darren Price.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. And a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hunt. I can confirm that are all members in favour of Councillor Darren Price as vice chair? I can confirm, therefore, that all those measures are approved. So, Councillor Stewart, I'll now hand over to you to take us through the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, colleagues, and can I thank everyone for their support and look forward to working closely with you all over the coming year. We'll move back to the agenda then, and declarations of interest first, please. Are there any declarations that any members need to make for today's agenda?
I see no indication, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move then to the minutes of the previous meetings, and we've got two sets of minutes to go through. Firstly, the minutes of the 24th of January 2023 and the minutes of the 30th of January 2023. I've not been notified that anybody wishes to make any amendments to either sets of minutes, but happy to take any corrections if we have them today. If not, can I take them one at a time then? All happy to agree the minutes of the 24th of January? Okay, thank you. And then the minutes of the 30th of March. Okay, thank you, colleagues. Those are agreed. We'll move forward then to the forward work programme. This item is for noting only today, but I'll offer out now to who's going to take us through this report, please. Karen, over to you.
Just very briefly, Chair, if you recall last time we had an empty forward work programme on the agenda, and what we've done is picked out the elements now from the corporate plan and the statutory elements of work that we'll need to progress over the next 12 months. So there's visibility of what should be coming to each meeting. Hopefully that'll assist members of the committee, but also the Joint Scrutiny Committee as well. There will be probably some additional items that will need to be added as we go through the year, but this is the work as best as we're able to forecast it at the moment.
Great, thank you, Karen. Any questions or comments for Karen on the forward work programme? No. If not, then we'll note that. Thank you, Karen. We'll move on then to item 6, which is the reconstitution of the South West Wales Corporate Joint Committee. I'll hand over to Craig in a second, but you'll see that there are recommendations here on pages 25 and 26, which Craig will take us through. So, Craig, over to you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stewart. So I'm happy that members will be able to take all of these en masse at the end as we've gone through them. But what I'll just do is explain to you in advance what we're asking you to make decisions on today, just so you can understand that basis. So as I mentioned earlier on, this is technically cast as the annual general meeting of the Corporate Joint Committee. So there's a requirement that we just need to constitute ourselves for the forthcoming year and put our administrative and governance arrangements ultimately in place. So the first element that we start with are our subcommittees. The Corporate Joint Committee has agreed to create 4 subcommittees in respect of the areas of regional transport, economic well-being, strategic development planning, and economic well-being for our regional energy strategy. So what we're asking today are approval for the subcommittees ultimately to be established and the membership then to be as detailed within that particular section of the report there. We have the requirement to establish a governance and audit committee, which is led by Pembrokeshire County Council. And again, we're asking you just to confirm the appointment of our governance and audit committee with the members being appointed as identified within your report. Again, within legislation, we are required to have a standards committee, and it was decided in previous years that the standards committee of Neath Talbot Council would be the designated standards committee for the CJC, given that the monitoring officer function vests in myself. So again, we're asking you to reconfirm that for the forthcoming civic year. We have also required to have an overview and scrutiny subcommittee, and our previous arrangements have seen us designate and created a joint scrutiny committee between the various parties. And again, we're asking you to constitute the same for the forthcoming year with the membership identified at paragraph 26 of that report. There's also a requirement that we also indicate our forthcoming meeting cycle for this coming year. As you will see then at paragraph 28 of the report, we have provisional dates for the Corporate Joint Committee, all of our various subcommittees now as well, and the appropriate invites will be forwarded to members so that they'll be in the diaries going forward to the forthcoming year. And of course, we can always add additional meetings if needed, but we do have now bases set up into the process for this forthcoming year. And finally, then as well, members have agreed previously the creation of a private sector representative forum to the work of the Corporate Joint Committee. The manner in which we appointed those representatives previously is that their tenure runs until the date of the next annual meeting. So again, we're asking for a similar requirement here that you reconfirm the advisors who've previously been appointed and that their tenure will run then until our annual general meeting in 2024. So a few constitutional matters just to take through, and will enable the CJC then to be established within the forthcoming year and then to make the decisions and to review as and when ultimately required, Chair. But I'm happy to answer any questions that members may have.
Okay, thank you for that, Craig. Are there any comments or questions for Craig on the subcommittees? It seems quite straightforward. Those are the decisions we've previously taken, and obviously it makes sense to reconstitute them today. So I'm very happy to move that report on Craig's behalf. And as I said, the recommendations there are on pages 25 and 26 of your report. Could I ask for a seconder then, please, if there aren't any questions?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you, Darren. If there aren't any other questions, if we can then go to the vote. All those in favour, please. Thank you very much. That is unanimous. Thank you, colleagues. We'll move then to item 7, which is the granting of the Coopted member status to the chair of the Regional Skills and Learning Partnership, and that's on pages 35 to 38 of your report. And again, I'll bring Craig in to take us through.
I think this one will be Karen, Chair.
Or Karen, apologies. Karen, over to you.
Just with me, I thought you were taking it, Craig, as well.
Oh, sorry, I might have
No, it's okay. So clearly the committee has economic wellbeing powers that it can exercise. And last year you approved the Regional Economic Delivery Plan for the South West Wales region. When the chief executives and directors were reflecting on how we are progressing that plan, we collectively agreed that we would recommend to you that we propose to co-opt the Chair of the Skills and Learning Partnership as a key part of our overall economic development endeavour within the region, and would give us the opportunity to coordinate those arrangements more formally within the CJC environment. So it's your, Chair, for our leaders to consider that recommendation and hopefully approve it.
Okay, thank you, Karen. And again, I think it seems sensible. I think it was probably a gap we left in the previous arrangements for the Swansea Bay City region, having that formal input from the chair of the Learning and Skills Partnership. So it would certainly, to me, make sense to have that the benefit of that involvement in the CJC. So I'm very happy to move the recommendation on your behalf. Are there any questions or comments for Karen in terms of the detail behind that? If not, could I ask for a seconder, please?
Yeah, happy to look at it.
Thank you, Darren. Okay, if that's the case, can we go to the vote again, please? All those in favour? Thank you very much. Onwards then to the investment zone policy offer. As you know, the UK government has announced some initial details on investment zones. So I'll hand over to Karen to take us through this report. Karen.
Thank you, Chair. As you say, the UK government announced a policy offer back in March, but that policy offer was confined to England. And my understanding is that the Welsh government is still considering whether they are going to apply a similar policy in Wales. There are discussions going on between the UK and the Welsh government to that effect. So essentially what I've done with this report is, first of all, make sure that everybody was aware that this policy offer was announced in England, and those that dialogue is underway. I've extracted from the UK government policy offer the summary of what the English offer is, and also put the link into the report if you wanted to read the whole thing. But what you'll see from the extract of it is essentially the investment zone is going to be, again, very focused on specific geographic areas with potentially tax benefits and other financial benefits that would come with the policy. And what the UK government is looking for is for us to align a proposition with high growth sectors in terms of the English policy offer anyway, and essentially develop an innovation ecosystem that can accelerate the work that we've already started through the City Deal and now through the Corporate Joint Committee. So we don't know at this moment in time whether the Welsh Government are going to be minded to take it on board. As I say, they were having active discussions with the UK government when I made an initial inquiry about it. But I think our view as chief executives and regional directors is that we don't want to be starting from a standing start if the Welsh Government decides that they do want to take this on board. So we're seeking your authority really to start that initial thinking and that dialogue with government in the background. In England, unlike Freeport, they haven't used a competitive process for allocating the investment zones in England. They've allocated that based on a methodology that they come up with. And when I was talking with the Welsh Government officials, they were indicating that they would be minded to take a similar approach in Wales if the Minister was going to introduce it. So you'll see in the report as well that I've suggested that we send a letter or expression of interest into the Minister, because I think it's going to be important that we're doing that early dialogue with the Welsh Government, not just waiting for them to decide what they're going to do and then, we've got to respond around that. So I hope that's enough background, Chair. As I say, there's sort of summary of what's happening in England is in the report. But I suppose a key thing for us is let's be on the front foot here. And if we are going to see a policy of this kind emerge for Wales, we want to be really clear about how we could incorporate that within what we're already doing within South West Wales and hopefully accelerate that progress.
Yeah, thank you, Karen, and thank you for the work you've done on this. I think absolutely right. I think look, Welsh Government will make its decision in due course, but we need to be ready for the fact that they may well adopt this policy. And I think given the work that was done and the success of attracting the Freeport to the region, the work that we're doing on the City Deal, I think all of that puts us in a very good position, given that we've got two strong leading universities across the region as well, to make a claim for us to be a considered investment zone. So I definitely would support this, and I would welcome comments or support from others as well. So are there any questions or comments for Karen on this? Anybody else want to make a statement? Darren?
Ie, diolch Rob. Ie, fi'n credu bod e'n holl bwysig yn bod ni yn datgan diddordeb yn o hyn. Ych chi'n edrych ar yr sectorau a mae'r Llywodraeth San Steffan yn targedu fan hyn. Maen nhw'n plethu gyda'r hyn i ni'n trial cyflawni yn De-orllewin Cymru yn sicr. Felly mae yna gyfle fi'n credu ein bod ni'n gallu bod yn llwyddiannus ar hyn ac i fi'n hollol cytuno gyda'r syniad o ddechrau trafodaeth na gyda Llywodraeth Cymru yn gynnar iawn yn y broses. Mae yna potensial fan hyn a i fi'n llawn cefnogi'r cynnig. Diolch.
Thank you, Darren. Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I'm not going to add anything further to what you and Darren have said. I just wanted to inquire, maybe Karen could give some information. What timescales, if they have been indicated, are we looking at? Appreciate the work goes on in the background and utmost confidence in all those that will be involved. But is there any indication coming from the conversation between Welsh Government and the UK Government on how quick they are looking to perhaps deliver this to Wales, if they are going to? That's all. I'm fully supportive of it, Rob, as you are, and I'm sure our other colleagues. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I'll bring Karen in, but my understanding is Welsh Government are considering it. I don't think they've given us a time frame for when they'll make the decision, but obviously we want to make sure our interest is in there ahead of any decision Welsh Government would make. I don't know whether you want to add to that, Karen?
No, Chair, I think you've summed it up there. I've got nothing to add to what you've said there.
Okay. Well, look, I think all of the comments are positive. I think, therefore, if we just take it to the vote, all in favour of us proceeding as outlined by Karen? Okay, thank you very much. That's supported, colleagues. And we'll come to our final item for today then, which is the forward outturn and pre-audit annual return 22-23. I'll go to Chris Moore. Chris?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. This item is concluding the first year of the accounts as CJC. You will recall that we set a budget on a bit of an unknown basis at the start of the year of 575,000. We haven't spent a significant amount of it in relative terms, but we have been. It has been a year of developing the CJC more than anything, as opposed to it being fully up and running in terms of the call on the budget. So there is quite a significant underspend, 384,000 of the 575, with a net expenditure of 190,000. The report is in two parts. The report is a summary, which is in Appendix A, of the expenditure that's incurred during the year. And the second part then is our responsibility in terms of having it audited and reporting the final position as an audit final. Because the income expenditure of the CJC is below 2.5 million, we haven't got to do a full statement of accounts, and we actually are able to do an annual return, which will be audited externally by Audit Wales as normal process of the smaller organisations. So the annual return, which is in Appendix B, includes the accounting statement, and it will include then the annual governance statement, committee approval and certification, and there will be an internal audit report which is underway and will be completed in due course. So this has been signed by myself as Section 151, and it will be signed by the committee chair after today's meeting. So the report itself effectively replicates what's actually in the summary in Appendix A. And if I take you quickly through the Appendix A, just breaking down some of the expenditure items there, as you can see, the original budget is set there at 575,000, and then we have the breakdown of items that the accountable body underspent by 18,000 due to audit costs being less than potentially what they could have been. Governance and internal audit underspent by 26,000 due to the minimal activity on the internal audit work and the subcommittee's expenses. And then we didn't employ directly a senior accountant at the moment in terms of the employment of anyone in respect to the works involved, because it's still developing and it just didn't warrant it. So that was another saving of 59,000. The regional management office, as we originally structured, we didn't draw significantly on that money. We did appoint a business manager, as we know. Owain Enoch was appointed there, and that salary is there, but we didn't draw some of the other consultancy specialist fees that we thought we may have needed to do. And also the subcommittees didn't actually get off the ground to the same extent as what could have happened. So it's put us in a good position. It's meant, and we made a conscious decision, as you recall, in year 2, that we were going to set a minimum budget for the current year due to the pressures on the constituent authorities. So this actually just assists with that, in the fact that we've now moved 384,000 into reserves, and it will be held as a reserve for the CJC going forward, and the usage can be drawn on it as and when we require going forward. So it's put the CJC on a level footing going forward with some sort of protection in terms of reserves. So that's the report. That's the final picture. It's hoped that Audit Wales will audit these accounts in the near future. I know they got some resourcing issues and they're challenged in terms of what they deliver first, but that has been presented to them, and we will represent the audit statement back to you once it's been concluded with Audit Wales. Thank you, Chair. If there are any questions, I will try and deal with them.
Thank you for that, Chris. And colleagues, does anybody have any questions or comments for Chris on the report? I think it was a comprehensive run through, so thank you for that, Chris. I'm happy to move. Could I ask for a seconder, please?
Happy to look at it.
Thank you, Darren. All those in favour? Okay, thank you very much. That is agreed. I haven't been notified of any urgent items, but happy to take them if there are any today. If
There's no
not,
urgent items, Chair.
okay, if not, thank you, colleagues, for your attendance. Look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Could I ask for local authority leaders and chief execs to remain on the call, because we've got to catch up anyway about the bus emergency support